Good evening. This week we're at the home of film director Daniel Carney, talking about his new release, Lads Weekend, about some of the issues and about some of the techniques he's used. So tell me, Daniel, how does your product engage the audience?
Well, actually, I think largely through the use of music in my production, as it uses very fast-paced songs like Let's Dance, Mr. Brightside by The Killers, and NW5 by Madness, and that's just in the trailers, of course. And I try to keep a consistent kind of theme with the music of being relatively old. Like, I mean, Mr. Brightside and NW5 are early 2000s, but that's still about 10 years ago if you think about it, which is quite funny. So yeah, anyway, I think that because they're actually not songs that really are used in film, they might be more popular with my audience and they can use them to associate them to my films. And of course, throughout my marketing, I have pushed these musics, like in both of my trailers, these three songs that I've mentioned have featured. I've also tried to keep a consistency of images, such as the axe in the left hand, which appears in both of my trailers and on my website, of course. And of course, across the various social medias that I am a part of.
See. And do you think the music appeals to a certain age group?
Well, the target age group for my film is young adults and late teens, which of course it's Lads Weekend, so they're all off, drinking and stuff that early adults and late teens can actually relate to.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that really appeals to that audience?
I'd like to think that it massively engages with them because it features heavily the kind of partying aspect that a lot of 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds will be partaking in quite often. So I think that it'll speak to them on a personal level.
And do you think it provides them with a positive message about all of that?
That was actually one of the worries that we had when we were creating the film. But we've tried to actually keep, whilst they are having like a wild time, they've tried to keep the drinking to a minimum with only having a couple of shots of drinking beer and maybe some liquor and some shots, but nothing much harder than that because we want to spread a positive message. And of course, in the credits, it's going to be it states that we do not support underage drinking, and on the website and on the promotional material as well.
Mm-hmm. Great. So now you've finished the film. How are you going to go about distributing it?
Well, we're planning on, of course, putting it on streaming sites and like Amazon Prime and Netflix because that is the standard for today's industry. Mm-hmm. Your film is massively promoted through that, of course. But then we're also going to have more traditional physical media releases such as on DVD and, of course, Blu-ray. Mm-hmm. Although they're dying out, we can add things such as special features or bloopers onto them to try and get more people interested in buying the DVD and adding to our revenue stream.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you think the new form of distribution of media is an opportunity or a threat for a project like yours?
Well, I think for certain projects it definitely can be a threat because there isn't so much there are so many films available at once. It's not like cinema where there's only a couple of real, actual good films showing at once, so your film will become more like promoted through the cinemas. But with more streaming and stuff, it's millions, thousands of millions of films that they can choose from, so it's definitely hard to get your film out there, which is why we have tried to do quite an aggressive marketing campaign, having billboard advertisements in subways and on trailers and on our website, of course the social media with the Twitter hashtag bring the booze that we have been uploading videos under, of course.
Alright, okay. And does that particularly appeal to the audience that you're after?
The hashtag.
Yeah.
I think it does because, of course, with the young teens and early adults, they'll always be like short on cash, whereas our assumption, at least we were when we were younger. And so, of course, they're going to be asking lots of people to bring their own stuff to parties and stuff like that, rather than just buying all their own alcohol for parties like that. So we think that it'll be, and of course with the alliteration as well, it just kind of rolls off the tongue to make it more catchy.
Like a slogan.
Yeah. It is. It's kind of a slogan as well as a Twitter hashtag.
Right. Cool.